Hi, I'm Agent Ford. Do you think you can help me solve another true crime mystery? On May 13, 2002, Karlie Gusé was born to her parents, Lindsay Fairley and Zachary Gusé, who later divorced when she was a toddler. Lindsay moved to Nevada, and Karlie, alongside her two younger brothers, remained in California with their father and adoptive stepmother, Melissa Gusé, despite Lindsay possessing custody. Friends and family report Karlie as coming from a happy household, with the three siblings acclimating to their new lifestyle and familiar surroundings rather well. She was reportedly a popular and cheerful person, maintaining a good friendship group and a strong connection with her distanced mother. They collectively moved to Chalfant in California, a small rural community just to the east of the Sierra Nevadas, in August of 2018. When Karlie wasn't studying at Bishop Union High School, she worked part-time as an escrow assistant and spent time with her friends and boyfriend, Donald. However, later that year, everything changed for the worse. Those closest to her, including her family and friends, knew that Karlie was going through a hard time. It was October 2018, and she had recently been suspended from school for marijuana usage on campus. That, coupled with her grades stagnating before descending, and her recent paranoid disposition, landed her the task of attending counseling sessions. She would go to these sessions, but didn't speak about the episodes she'd begun experiencing, as reported by her friends. She was growing increasingly fearful that someone was tracking her phone, following her, and coming to get her. On Friday evening, October 12, 2018, she lied to her parents about going to her high school football game instead of visiting a house party accompanied by Donald, her boyfriend. At 8 p.m. that night, Melissa rang Karlie asking if she would need a lift home from the game. Karlie said no. However, all pretense of lying disappeared when she rang back under an hour later, saying, "Never mind. Hurry up. I've changed my mind. Come get me. I'm booking it down Dixon Lane. Hurry, hurry, hurry. I'm scared." Donald later stated his girlfriend had grown increasingly manic and impossible to calm down while at the party, saying she got scared of the music. She got scared of me. They stayed on the phone as Melissa drove to pick her up from the trailer park. At first, they could not find one another in the dark, but thankfully they did, thanks to the flashlight on Karlie's phone. She was reportedly hysteric, pale, jumping from seat to seat with dilated pupils. She admitted to smoking marijuana in between bouts of panicked declarations that she was scared. Melissa didn't take her to the hospital, deciding Karlie was in no immediate harm despite frequently needing to be calmed down, sometimes for up to 15 minutes. Zachary had only returned from work and drunk a few beers before his wife and daughter returned home in a state. While Melissa filled Zachary in on what had happened, Karlie shifted between different states, ranging from huddling in the corner, terrified of her phone, to wandering the house talking about how much she loved them both. Karlie asked Melissa to spend time with her, painting their toenails, coloring, and reading the Bible. Melissa later stated that Karlie wrote for a few hours, but what she wrote is still unknown as the paper was never discovered. Her non-stop mood switches prompted the two to secretly record some of the events to serve as a lesson or reminder for Katie in the future. Melissa kept the phone in her pocket, capturing audio and a dark screen across two videos. We'll come back to the contents of those videos later. Melissa attempted to feed her stepdaughter. However, Katie refused, spitting the salad out and repugnantly calling it the devil's lettuce. At 10:15 p.m., Karlie sent a text to her boyfriend suggesting that she had smoked a laced substance. Throughout the night, Melissa also texted Donald updates on Karlie's well-being. One such message, sent at 1:27 a.m. on October 13, 2018, ominously read, "Please pray." According to Melissa, Karlie was so paranoid that she refused to part with her stepmother, apparently asking to sleep in the same bed together. The last time Melissa reports seeing Karlie was in her bed at 5:45 a.m., as by 7:30, she was gone. The front door had been left wide open, and a solitary fresh footprint on the driveway was all that remained. Karlie had vanished. After finding her phone at home, Melissa and Zachary drove their cars around the neighborhood to find Karlie to no avail. The couple began dialing numbers on their own phones. After calling Karlie's mother, Lindsay, again, we'll get back to this, Zachary called the Momo County Sheriff's Department to report their daughter's disappearance. Due to their limited resources, they soon called in the FBI's assistance and the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They discovered 3 witnesses of credible testimony that we'll discuss momentarily. Meanwhile, Melissa and Zachary returned home to meet Donald, who received a similar phone call. Curiously, Donald also later swore seeing Karlie's phone by her bed, though Melissa argues it was always on the kitchen island. Two of the witnesses knew Karlie personally. The first, Richard Eddy, lived on their road and was in his jacuzzi when he saw her wandering around with a piece of paper in her hands between 6:30 a.m. and 6:45 a.m. The second, a man living around the corner by the name of Kenneth Dutton, mirrored that sentiment. The third witness didn't know Karlie, but expressed seeing someone similar between 7 and 7:30, a mile from their house. The figure was standing at the corner of the highway inside a barbed wire fence. Due to the rural location, no cameras caught Karlie's last wandering, 100 yards south of Sierra View Road. The following week, the sheriff's office searched for Karlie using helicopters, horseback, dogs, and off-road vehicles involving 60 police officers and multiple search and rescue teams. A checkpoint was set up on Highway 6 where she was spotted, but none of the 50 people who had driven through the area that day could confirm the claim. Posters were also put up all around the area. Eventually, official efforts were halted on October 25th when no further leads were discovered. Private parties continued their search of both the desert and mountains, but similarly, found no trace. Due to the speculative and confounding nature of the Karlie Gusé case, it quickly went viral, gaining traction particularly across Facebook, where Melissa would talk on a live stream and Lindsay continues to post about the incident. The three parents appeared multiple separate times on Dr. Phil and the Nancy Grace podcast, stating their case and pleading for Karlie's safe return. However, in October of 2019, the Sheriff's Department released a statement claiming they were no closer to finding Karlie. Groups were formed such as Bring Karlie Home and Justice for Karlie Gusé, and a dichotomy began to develop among those interested online. Multiple theories have appeared about her disappearance, with a number of them casting doubt on Melissa due to her conduct throughout. First, let's discuss the video. 9 minutes of audio footage was shot, according to those who have been able to hear it. Zachary and Lindsay refused to release it to the public to this day. Accounts of those who have listened to the footage entail Karlie saying she was scared and unsure of why. She was worried something might happen that would require calling 911. She was frightened of being killed in her sleep, was thinking about demonic stuff, loved Melissa, and had messed up today. Lindsay contested the video for its contents. She believed her daughter died of an overdose before being hidden. The footage compromises Melissa and Zachary's involvement that night. Allegedly, when Melissa showed the audio to Lindsay, the latter heard scuffling towards the end. When she asked about this, Melissa walked away. Similarly, Melissa's statement regarding that morning has changed. Initially, she claimed that after putting Karlie to bed, she returned to her own room. Then at 5:45 a.m., she checked up on all three children, reporting no change until 7:45 a.m., at which point she discovered Karlie missing and the door open. However, she later adjusted her testimony to having spent the entire night next to Karlie at her behest, walking briefly to see Karlie awake and staring at the ceiling around 5:45 before waking one last time between 7:15 and 7:30 a.m. to find her missing from the bed. Clearly, there are huge discrepancies that haven't been overlooked, especially by Lindsay, who suggests that the second testimony matches her overdosing hypothesis. Zachary's involvement, lack of engagement, and seeming absence for most of the story have also cast speculation over his testimony. One key component he played was in phone calling the individual parties who later got involved, particularly Lindsay. She maintains that something felt wrong with the call, with Zachary saying Karlie was gone in a way that, upon reflection, makes her feel uneasy. Later, in one accusatory post, she suggested Zachary at one point saying, "At least you have an alibi." Much like the time incongruities, Melissa's statement account of the clothes Karlie last wore has also changed. At first, she claimed she had been wearing a white t-shirt and skinny jeans. Following the three eyewitness testimonies, she replaced the skinny jeans with gray sweatpants, more in line with what they saw her wearing. This would later change to t-shirts and underwear, and that she's unsure of the pants she was wearing and would be unable to discern what was missing from her extensive wardrobe. Donald's involvement had also been called into question due to his public Facebook posts and likewise flip-flopping on accounts. He denied them going to a party, saying she bit him before running away on their way to his house, which directly contradicts his previous testimony. In his most recent revision, shown in a private Facebook message, Donald maintains that they were at a friend's house smoking weed, not a party, and that the latter part still occurred. Lindsay maintains her stance to this day, and in March of 2020, she filed a formal complaint against the sheriff for misuse of funding and tips. She hired a private investigator who reported the office had ignored protocol by failing to neither search Zachary nor Melissa's car, nor analyze Karlie's bedding. To these theories, Melissa stated a lot of people are bashing, and I don't care, whatever. And right, to that person, you don't know me. Her demeanor and defensiveness on her Facebook Live have cast her under further scrutiny. She frequently deflects and changes information. Aside from a brief statement on October 11, 2019, she has not made an attempt, begging for her return or speaking to Karlie under the pretense she might be watching. She also had received detail work on her Corolla not long after the incident, so that could reason that she had driven out to the boonies or over boulders. Nonetheless, while most of this speculation falls under circumstantial, the numerous discrepancies and contradicting elements of the Karlie Gusé disappearance has made it an interesting, if not concerning and confusing case. The family has found themselves at the repeated end of harassment, ridicule, and cruelty over the past years, which can only reflect poor on us if Karlie is found and Melissa is found innocent of any wrongdoing. The way they handled her substance trip and refused to call an ambulance will likely haunt those involved for the rest of their lives. At the beginning of every football game being held at Bishop Union High School's grounds, the announcer asked those in attendance to remember Karlie and hope she returns home safe. Meanwhile, Lindsay maintains her social media posts and constantly promotes awareness of her daughter's disappearance, urging those who might know something to report it to the authorities. At the time of her disappearance, Karlie Lane Gusé weighed 110 pounds, was 5'7", and had dark blonde hair and a left nostril piercing. She is white, has blue eyes, and is 19 years old. The FBI is offering a reward of up to $5,000 for information leading to her location. Please don't forget her, just in case. So what do you guys think of this story? Did Melissa have something to do with Karlie's disappearance? Did Karlie just up and leave and walk out, having some type of psychological disorder or schizophrenia? Did she take a drug that messed with her brain? Let me know what you think in the comments below. If there's anything we can learn from Karlie's story, boys and girls, it's stay away from the devil's lettuce. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button and share it with your fellow investigators. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a case. With that being said, stay safe, and I'll see you guys at the next crime scene.